we'll jump right in. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. We're going to get started here in just a few minutes. We're allowing a few last individuals to sign on and we'll get this going. Okay, so just give us a couple minutes and we'll be right back. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. My name is Milan de la Rocha. I'm Assistant Vice President of Business Growth and Innovation here at AltaMed, and it's truly my honor to be here with you all. And we're going to spend a little bit of time here, about an hour, talking about mindfulness and how it can affect your health and well-being. With everything that's going on, we thought that this was a brilliant topic for us to dive a little bit deeper into and engage with you all. We're really looking forward to it. We got some great speakers that I can't wait for you all to connect with. So partly, I wanted to share with you a little bit about how we will spend this next hour. The first portion will be with our own Dr. Sandra Pisano, our Director of Behavioral Services, talking about resiliency in challenging times. From there, we'll move on into a guided mindfulness activity and a little bit of a community conversation with you all with Dr. Jeffrey Ring. He's principal of Health Management Associates. And finally, we'll recap on some of the COVID-19 resources available and mental health resources so that you all have everything you need to take care of yourselves, your family, and your friends. But with that, I wanted to give a little bit of technical guidance because we're actually streaming live on two different platforms today. We're on WebEx and we're also on Facebook Live. So we're really excited about that. But to help everybody out that might not be familiar with these platforms, on Facebook Live, you might see a window, a live video feed now, and in the top left-hand corner of that video feed, you'll see a link that says Cisco via WebEx. What I would recommend is that you click that link. It'll take you to another live video feed, but the change now is that you'll see a chat box or a comment box on the right hand of your screen. I completely encourage you to send in any questions, any comments, any concerns through that chat box. So it's really important for those that are on Facebook Live to click on the link in the top left corner of your video that says Cisco via WebEx if you don't see a chat box already on the right side of your screen, because that will take you to a new video that will have a chat and comment box available to you. But if you have any questions or any concerns, please just feel free to send us a note through your Facebook directly to AltaMed. Our Facebook is live and we have our team ready to answer your questions. For those on WebEx, and that may not be familiar with the technical aspects of this platform, there's a few things that I'd like to cover with you all. As you click on the screen that you're seeing, whether it's on your phone or on your computer, you'll see a row of options that present themselves at the bottom. So if you're looking at the screen, they might not be there, but as you hover your mouse towards the bottom of the screen or you click on your mobile device screen, you should see those buttons pop up. So one of the buttons that you'll see is a chat icon, a little speaking bubble. If you click that chat icon, you will see a chat box open up on the right side of your screen. And just like we recommended for Facebook, I would absolutely suggest that you put in any technical issues you're having, any questions, comments, concerns at any time, and we will look to answer those in the Q&A section. I do want to remind everybody that we might not get to every question here today, but we will get to every question and we will get right back to you. So if you don't hear an answer today on this screen and this session, we will definitely respond directly back to you. Okay? So the other component that I wanted to make sure that everybody is also familiar with is the view function. So on the top right-hand corner of your WebEx platform, you'll see different view options. And again, they will pop up as you click the screen or as you hover your mouse towards the top. I would suggest that you pick the view option that is in the center, which says, I'm looking for it to pop up for me right now. Well, it's not, but it is active listener, and it looks like a square with 3 little squares at the bottom. It's in the center of the view controls. That way you can see the presenters as they're speaking. Okay, I hope that answers all the questions. If not, please feel free to just add to the comment or the chat box on either platform, and we will get right back with you. But with that, I wanted to turn it over to our professionals, the people that you have all come today to hear. But I wanted to give a little bit of an introduction for both of them. Dr. Sandra Pisano is our Director of Behavioral Health Services at AltaMed Health Services. She's a clinical health psychologist who's currently the director and also the co-founder of our behavioral health department. For over 30 years, Dr. Pisano has worked with several healthcare organizations, specialty clinics, and family residency programs, and she specializes in integrating behavioral health services into primary care. Her career has been dedicated to working in culturally diverse and underserved communities. Currently, she's collaborating with AltaMed's Physician Wellness Program on practitioner self-care and resilience. Burnout is true for everyone. Dr. Pisano utilizes an interdisciplinary approach in training medical staff on mental health issues, and her goal is to assist patients in implementing healthy lifestyle changes in order to prevent and manage chronic medical conditions. In order to accomplish this goal, she's worked tirelessly to teach on the importance of the mind and body connection. So I'm so excited for you all to connect with her. She is just a gem within our organization. And next we have Dr. Jeffrey Ring. He's the principal of Health Management Associates. Dr. Ring is a health psychologist and principal consultant at Health Management Associates, where he works on projects related to health equity, medical education, integrated whole person care, and medical leadership. As a health psychologist, he served as the director of behavioral sciences and cultural medicine at the Family Medicine Residency Program at White Memorial Medical Center here in East Los Angeles, where he taught mind-body medicine and doctor-patient communication. Dr. Ring has extensive clinical experience with health practitioner resilience and vitality through teaching, consultation, and retreats. In 2016, Dr. Ring taught mindfulness in Spanish to approximately 1,400 farm and agricultural workers in the central region of California, a very, very critical population to our economy and to all of us. But with that, I'd like to turn it over now to Dr. Pisano so that she can begin to walk us through resiliency in changing times. Dr. Pisano?
Thank you, Milan, for the introductions, and thank you for the great opportunity to be here with everyone today to talk about this very important subject. Our lives have changed in a dramatic way during this pandemic. None of us could have predicted that we could be in this situation. This is all very new to all of us. Not only are we worried about our physical health, but our emotional lives have also been impacted by the pandemic. This is why it's very important for us to talk about our mental health and how to cope with our feelings. In order to prevent and reduce the risk of mental health crises in our communities, we need to practice some self-care. So today we will talk about how to become resilient in times of adversities. Next slide, please. But before we get to the back one slide, please. Yes, thank you. But before we get to this question, Dr. Ring and I would like to check in with the audience, and we would like to know how you've been feeling in this last couple of weeks. On your screen, you have a chat box where you can type in your feelings. We would like to hear from all of you.
Dr. Pisano, it's so great working with you. You and I have been friends and colleagues for so long, and to be together, shoulder to shoulder, from far apart, talking about these really important community building issues in this moment is of essential importance. And I just echo, we invite everybody to please, in your chat box, just a word or two, a description of some feeling words about how you've been doing over the last week or so,
Yes.
how your mood has been or your emotional life. We'll take a look at those. While we're waiting, I'm gonna, oh, here they start to come, fantastic. And this is great. Some of them are coming from our Facebook team as well as the WebEx team. This is great, it's a good mixing. So here's what we see. I've been feeling restless. Restless absolutely is a common experience these days.
Yes.
Feeling stressed with work, feeling a lot of anxiety.
Yes.
This one's interesting. Lots of ups and downs, sometimes stressed, concerned about family. And those ups and downs are complicated, Dr. Pisano, because sometimes one person in the family is up and another is down. Have you seen some of that?
Yes, definitely. Everyone has a different experience during this pandemic. So everyone can be experiencing so many different emotions. Yes. It says here, it's difficult for me because I'm working from home and this is all new for me. It makes it worse that everything is closed, so I have nothing to look forward to. So yes, this experience can be very isolating, lonely sometimes, yes.
And also complicated. A lot of folks are not just parents and workers, but now they're teachers and educators and curriculum developers. And how do we do all of this? So many roles to kind of manage. This can be depleting and exhausting as well. I see here grief.
Yes, grief.
Although not COVID related, afraid to go out, tired of staring at a screen. Well, if you get tired of us, we understand. It's a nice,
anxious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah. A sense of loss because everything came to a halt. Let's just linger there for a moment. There are so many losses. So many losses. Some are a little simpler, like restaurants we love that we can't go out to or places that we enjoyed. Some of the losses are much more profound.
Yes.
Much closer to the heart.
Right.
The losses of people that we love. Loss of loved ones who are working so hard, say in healthcare or in other important services. Families separated who can't be with grandma or grandpa. Lots of distance.
And for a lot of children, loss of not being able to see your friends and them graduating and moving on without saying that final goodbye.
I see here, tired of being tired, wondering if things will ever come back. The Facebook team worried that someone in their family actually tested positive, which raises all kinds of worries and anxieties. Low energy despite sleeping a lot. What I don't see here that I would add is I'm irritable. I'm irritable and short-tempered. I haven't always been my kindest or most patient self with my family and with coworkers.
Yes, I do see a Facebook post of someone getting angry with those.
There we go. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Should we move forward?
Yes, and what I'd like to say is that all these feelings are very normal. It all comes and goes at different stages and different phases. Sometimes you may feel down. The next moment you might feel irritable. And then the next moment you might feel low energy. So it all comes and goes at different phases. And I just want to let you know that this is all normal. We're all experiencing these feelings and emotions. So I completely can sympathize with you with what you're going through because we're all going through it. Next slide, please. So the big question for today is how to move away from fear and worry to peace, calm, kindness, compassion, and empathy. I would like to share some stories with you of people who have turned their fear and worry into acts of courage and compassion. Here at AltaMed, we have a program called AltaMed Gives. This is a voluntary program in which AltaMed employees donate time and money to provide assistance to people in need. The first story I would like to share with you is about one of our patients who took a trip to Florida to visit one of her parents. Upon arrival in Florida, she tested positive for COVID-19. Because of her diagnosis, she could not stay with her parents or fly back to California without risking her health or the risk of others. Instead, she made the decision to self-quarantine in an Airbnb for 2 weeks. Dealing with her diagnosis was already difficult for her, but now she had to deal with the unexpected financial challenges. AltaMed employees were informed and they quickly reached out to the patients for support. Thankfully, the AltaMed Gives program was able to provide the patient with support by covering the housing and medication costs. Another great story of compassion and empathy is a story about one of our employees by the name of Enriqueta, who works out of our general pediatrics clinic at our children's hospital location. She was watching the news one evening when she recognized one of the mothers of one of our pediatric patients. The mother was being interviewed by a television show called Primer Impacto. This mother expressed concern about having a pre-existing condition of cancer and having to go out into the community to purchase groceries for her family. However, this mother was not alone. Our AltaMed Gives program provided this employee the support needed, not only to purchase and deliver the groceries to this family, but to also connect the mother to a restaurant who is now delivering food to this family on a regular basis. Every day here at AltaMed, we hear stories of our patients in Orange County and LA County who have been impacted by COVID-19. Because of the generosity of our employees, our AltaMed Gives program will continue to provide support and extend a helping hand to our community. These are amazing stories of people who have turned fear and worry into acts of kindness and compassion. It is this human connection that will help us heal our communities. But in order to accomplish this, we must first take care of ourselves. The first step is to invite peace, calm, and kindness into your life. We must actively engage in an activity that will promote peace and calm in our lives. And now I will turn it over to Dr. Ring, who will continue to talk about kindness and courage, and will also lead us in a mindfulness technique.
Sweet. Thank you so much. Thanks. Next slide, please. And one more after that. I wanted to call this the common part of our conversation a clearing, like a clearing in the woods, like this area where there aren't as many trees, where the light gets through a little more easily, where the lower plants don't have to fight as much to get light. We need some space. We need some clearing. We need to be able to see things with some perspective and clarity. So I'm going to invite you to just sort of move into a kind of quiet, mindful place. And invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes or maybe just look downward. I want you to just notice the experience of just sitting in the chair. If you're sitting in the chair, if you're lying on the bed, if you're leaning against the wall, we're just going to notice that. And we'd like you to just sort of begin to take a little bit of a tour of all the places that your body is supported in the chair. So notice the support at your back. Notice the support at the seat of your hips and thighs. If you can reach and it's comfortable, see if you can plant your feet nice and solid on the ground. That way you can feel the support of good, strong floor for your feet and legs. And for this moment, this quiet moment, this clearing moment, that is all we're doing. We're just noticing the body sitting in the chair. Now, what often happens during this kind of exercise is your mind is very active. You're maybe thinking about things you need to do or worries that you have or distractions. For this moment, see if you can just notice all of those thoughts. Kind of nod to them, and let them pass as if they were clouds in the sky on a windy day. You can have all those thoughts, it's normal, but for right now, we're going to just not let them claw into you or get their talons into you. Just see that they're there. We'll wish them well. We'll tell them that we'll be back to meet with them later. Right now, this moment, you're just sitting in the chair, feeling support. Maybe you have a little sensation of melting a bit, melting into the chair. Maybe you have the sensation of gratitude. Thank you, chair. Thank you, chair, for supporting my body. Gives my muscles and bones a bit of a break. And while we're sitting here, we can also, just for a few minutes, we can pay attention to our breath. So I invite you just to notice and watch and be curious about your breath in the next couple cycles. Breath is our faithful friend. It's with us from the beginning to the end, but we don't often pause to pay much attention to that miracle, this miracle of life. So what do you notice about your breath? What parts of your body actually move or contribute or add into the breath cycle? Just notice and watch. Maybe you notice your nose and mouth. Perhaps your throat and your neck are involved in breathing. Maybe you notice some subtle movement in your back and shoulders. Pretty likely you'll notice movement in your chest. You might even notice some movement in your belly as part of breath. And that's all we're doing right now. We're just sitting, the body supported in the chair, and the mind is just being curious about our breath, just watching. What do you notice? Are you breathing right now more through your nose or your mouth or both? What do you notice? Is your inhale longer than or shorter than or about the same as your exhale? This one's pretty picky. If you're breathing through your nose, can you tell if you're breathing more through your left nostril or your right nostril or both in balance? And give this one a try. Can you distinguish the temperature of the air in your nose between the inhale, the air going in, and the exhale, the air coming out? Can you distinguish a subtle temperature difference? Notice how you feel in your body as you sit and breathe. If you like it, if it feels good to you, then remember this, because you can come back here so easily. All you need is a quiet moment, or even a loud moment when you will decide to be quiet. Quiet with yourself. Melt into a chair, find your breath. Now I'm going to ask you to gently open your eyes and come back into the space. So nice to look up and to look down. And I like to look over each shoulder gently. It feels so good. Nice. We move to the next slide, please. I'd like to take a couple minutes and invite you to think about the last week or so. And in particular, I'd like you to think about some examples of kindness or altruism or generosity. We've already heard some beautiful examples from Dr. Pisano. What have you known or seen or experienced? Maybe so you've been generous and kind to someone else, or maybe they have been kind and generous with you, sacrificing and giving. Maybe it's something you saw in your community, or maybe it's something you've read about and or heard about in the news, in the country, or throughout the world. I'm going to invite you, both WebEx and Facebook, if you would just type in a sentence or two, some examples of these moments of kindness, generosity, of altruism that have caught your eye in the last week or two. I know in my neighborhood, one day I came out and I saw there was a little paper taped to my door from a neighbor who just created a little, I don't know what it was, like a little listserv, inviting all of us to sign up. And if some people were going out shopping and other people needed shopping, it was a way to coordinate generosity of services. So that was clever and high tech and sort of hipster cool and very sweet, because in fact, people are taking advantage of it. I have neighbors, 4 elderly folks living there who have not been able to make it to the market so easily. And so we and others have been able to sort of kick in. So let's see.
I'd like to share.
Please, yeah.
Recently, outside of our Goodrich clinic, I saw police officers passing out masks to all the homeless people in the community. So I thought it was so wonderful to see police officers doing that. So I just was so happy and impressed to see how we can all come together and support each other during this difficult time.
Beautiful. That is extraordinary. To protect and to serve, I believe, is the motto. And that's not just for the police. I think that's for all of us. I mean, really, what is a leader? What is a neighbor except for someone who takes care of the person to the left of them and who takes care of the person to the right of them?
So we have some, yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah. We have some people checking in. So one person checked in on their mature neighbor. Another was able to do Facebook. A person was able to have a balcony bingo with an elderly neighbor. So that's wonderful.
Great. I would ask for the people that wrote those, if you could just write in what those elderly neighbors, how they responded to that. Like, what was their reaction? I would be curious to hear about that. I see here about people could take and leave food and cleaning supplies, like a sort of a sharing table. Help an elderly neighbor, which felt amazing. By the way, how great is that?
That's
Helping
wonderful.
Somebody else feels amazing. Helping someone else is good for the recipient, of course, but it's good for us. This is the perfect example. It is anti-anxiety and antidepressant and anti-stress.
Right.
Kind and giving.
Another Facebook post is, I have a friend who sews masks and donates them and gives them away. That's wonderful to have people do time of their own time and money and make those masks, which takes time and effort, to donate them and give them away to others to protect the community. That is such a wonderful act of kindness.
Dr. Pisano and Dr. Ring, I was going to mention, I'm seeing some of the comments that are coming in here too. And, I've seen some really beautiful things from fellow friends and peers. I used to work a lot in the hospitality industry, and we always think of the back of the house employees as a lot of Latinos that are there, and at times immigrants. And so they've pulled together to start donating food to those individuals. And for some, that seems like a lot, right? How do I start something that I can be donating a lot? But then it was beautiful just to see one of the other comments on our chat box about just receiving a call was nice. And that's been something that I've gotten some good feedback too, as I've reached out to some of my family or friends that I haven't touched base with in a while and just shared, how are you doing? I know this is crazy, and I just wanted to touch base to see if you need anything. Just that little 5-minute phone call can go so long for so many people. So it doesn't take a massive effort to really be helpful and just bring a little light into someone's life at these times. So it's so amazing to see all the different things that are coming in here on our comments.
That's a great point, Milan, because right now it could be very lonely and isolating in our homes. And to have a family member or friend reach out to us with a phone call can make a big difference. Yes, it's so wonderful to see that.
Milan, what did your friends say, or how did they react when you made these kind of unexpected catch-up phone calls?
It was all very, very positive, very warm reception. I think as I'm seeing some of these comments around the fear and insecurity and stress and the like, I mean, I think one thing that one of my friends shared with me was just that, this is a big trauma that we're all going through, and we have to recognize it as a huge cultural shift. You can't go out to the parks. You can't hug the people that you want to. You can't high five your friends. Can't do any of those things right now. You want to do the opposite. But to just be able to connect with somebody, video visit with somebody, and so many applications now allow you to do video conferencing and play games together. So much that it really has gone a long way. And I'll say for some of the more elderly individuals, some of my aunts, uncles, and folks that may more fall into the isolated category, the more solitary category, oh, they greatly appreciated it. They don't, a lot of these seniors don't get to go to, the gas station and talk with Chuck behind the counter anymore, which might be the only social interaction they have during the day. So some of these little things that so much of us take for granted, so much of our population can no longer do, and that was their only outlet. So every call has been received with just joy and appreciation. And I too have received some of just calls from people I haven't heard from in a long time, and it's just nice to know that they think about you. So it's a win-win for everybody. It felt great for me, and it feels great for the individual.
Yes, that is wonderful.
As each of you are sharing, I feel like my mind is circling, like, who might I want to call tonight, right? Who is it that I need to check in? And I don't know if other people are feeling that, but this is important. This is a different kind of contagion, right? This is the contagion of positivity. This is the contagion of sweetness. This is the contagion of caring, of cariño, of aprecio, of cariño, of abrazo desde una distancia. This is a different way of spreading something that is the best of human beings.
Yes. Yes, we get so bombarded with so much news, the negativity, that sometimes we get overwhelmed with all the negativity. So by practicing these wonderful acts of kindness and empathy and compassion, we're spreading the good news and good love to everybody around us. Yeah.
I'm noticing a number of things in the chat box, both from WebEx and Facebook, that have to do with food. Very curious, right? Restaurant workers delivering food to the elderly, something about kits of emergency food kits from the church. I saw something about beans, I think, 2 sacks of beans to give away at a shelter. My sister, who works at a hospital in a COVID unit up in Portland, Oregon, talks about lots of restaurants bringing food for the healthcare practitioners. Food is basic. Food is primal. Food is sustenance. It's what moms and dads give to infants when they first come into the world. And it's what we do with our elderly grandparents, if and when we're able, and our families all along the life cycle. So how beautiful of this theme emerging as well as another way to be positive and connecting. And, I've tasted food, sometimes it was just cooked, and sometimes I've tasted food that was cooked with love, and it tastes really different. And so many of us may have a little more time on our hands. So this is a time to practice our cooking with con amor, right? With deep love and appreciation.
I was going to mention one thing here, Dr. Ring, as I'm hearing, there's so many different little things that we've talked about that we can instantly do now. And I saw one note that came in from one of our Facebook users, she's on WebEx, that they belong to an app called Neighbors, and they offer to walk dogs or buy groceries for surrounding neighbors. So there are some technology platforms that can also be supportive here. And I saw another individual that says they've supported GoFundMe accounts. So there are some there's not some, I would say there's a lot of individuals that have lost their job or in a tough time during this situation. And so to be able to do a donation, and I saw someone else saying, even offering your PTO to another coworker that might need some time to be with their family, or helping donate $1, $5 to the favorite restaurant workers that right now, or an individual that is in a hardship, also goes a long way. So it's beautiful to see there's things that we could be doing physically out in the community now safely, how technology can support. And one of my favorites here is that they said that a lot of people are adopting pets. I know I pet
noticing that too.
every day.
Isn't that wonderful?
And it is so wonderful. And there is science to prove that just by petting your dog, you emotionally feel better, or your animal, if it's a bird, a snake, a tarantula, whatever it might be. I'm sure that you get the same effects out of that.
Yeah, it increases connection and it reduces isolation and loneliness, and it helps you to just go out there and walk your dog. Of course, safeguarding yourself and honoring the distance. But definitely, I think that's a great one. Adopting pets, that's such great news that a lot of these pet adoption centers are now empty. So that's a great thing.
Absolutely.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I saw Milan's dog try and hop on the camera a little bit earlier. It must be a Hollywood thing. But I think I
co-host this whole time.
Look at him, how cute.
Oh, goodness. Goodness.
All right, so let's pause for a moment. And I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes and just hold all of this beautiful sharing. Just notice what it feels like to have shared and to listened and witnessed all of these stories. Just check in with yourself and your energy and mood right now. I'm going to ask you one last request. If you'll go back to the chat box and just type in a couple words that describe how you're feeling right now, in this moment, in this conversation, in this moment of time. Just a feeling word or two to describe how you're doing right now. The first one that I'm reading is relaxed, which I'm happy about. That was one of our missions. And the second one that I'm reading about is glad to not be alone. And I just want to linger here for a moment. I want to linger here with this expression of connection. We are not all together exactly today, but we are. We're together in profound and important ways in our sharing and our listening. So I just want to linger here for a moment in this experience of connection. I don't really know all of you, but I feel connected to you. I feel inspired by you. I feel moved by you. I am appreciative that you've chosen to spend an hour in the early evening together here focusing on managing the unexpected and unmanageable times. What else do we see here, Dr. Pisano, coming through?
People feel positive, relaxed, calm, grateful. Looking at the pictures is very relaxing to them. Happy that I have a family at home. They feel not alone. They feel connected.
There's one comment that's asking us about what about folks that feel that this is fake, and I'm not to be surprised that people would have all kinds of reactions to this. We're wired in really different ways. For some people, mindful quiet works. For other people, music works. For other people, physical activity works. For other people, talking with someone works. So, we just, I feel like, wanted to set the table tonight with some delicious opportunities to think about different ways about mindfulness. But there's in no way that we want to arm twist or push someone to a place that you're not interested in or ready for, or that doesn't speak to you. Maybe it's religion and spirituality, or maybe it's nature immersion. It's all good if it's good for you. So thank you for that comment. That's real and true, and I appreciate that. Are you seeing anything else come through?
Dr. Ring and Dr. Pisano, I do see a comment here, and I think you're right. Self-care is different for every individual. For some, it might be listening to your favorite song, maybe your wedding song, or maybe a special event that happened. Looking at old photos of those times and remembering how you felt it there. I mean, Googling pictures of beaches. I saw a beautiful image of, I can't wait to walk down the aisle, and it was the aisle of an airplane, not the aisle of a wedding. I thought that was perfect. But there is a lot of fear out there. And earlier we mentioned that it's normal to feel irritable and impatient. But why do we feel that right now? And what causes these feelings, possibly versus sadness or fear?
Yes, that's a great question, actually. We all have different backgrounds and different experiences. And so no one's going to be experiencing the same emotions or feelings during this whole situation. Some people may feel more sad or disconnected versus others may feel more irritable or angry. Everyone has a different reaction during this time. And the reason we're having these reactions is we're going through a major change in our lives. And whenever we have a major change, it's very normal for our bodies and our minds to kind of look at that change, and sometimes we try to adapt to this change. All kinds of emotions and feelings come up for us. And so it's very normal to have all these different emotions and feelings. But as we did the mindfulness technique today, we can allow some of those feelings to come in, honor them without judgment, and then let them go slowly and allow other emotions, invite other emotions into our lives, like love, compassion, and empathy, because we don't want to get stuck in one emotion. We want to let them come in and out and experience the whole range of emotions associated with this pandemic. But eventually, what we want to do is, like everything else, we normally adapt to change. And hopefully, your change will eventually bring you back to being the person that you are, person of hope, optimism, positivity, and compassion and love, because that is what's going to get us through to the next. That's how we're going to recover. So that's a great question. And in terms of self-care, Milan, I think it's very important to recognize that not everybody has the same self-care plan. So some people, they tend to be more spiritual. Some people tend to be very physical. They like the gym. They like to work out. Some people like more personal things like journaling, gratitude. Some people like to go out in nature. Some people like to do yoga. Some people like to engage in creative and artistic activities. And some people love music. So everyone's different. I think the goal here is to really have them engage in some sort of activity that works for them. So that's really the key point. Go on ahead and try all these different activities, find out what works for you, and then continue doing that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, let's see if we have any.
I'd like to, if we could, just again to close our eyes for a moment, to drop back in, find your breath, find your inhale and your exhale, read it with joy, recollection. There is not just the word of me and Dr. Pisano, but we have a whole science about resilience and well-being. Generosity, of course, has been shown to reduce depression. And we've heard that breathing in a certain way is good for the central nervous system, to sort of lengthen the exhale part of the breath, calms your central nervous system. So let's give that a try. I don't want you to hold your breath or catch your breath. But as you breathe, I just want to invite you to luxuriate, enjoy a slightly longer exhale. Try that out 3 or 4 times. Regular inhale, luxurious, slightly lengthened exhale. I hope you will keep that tool in your back pocket. Moments of stress, in between challenges, maybe even during a crispy or difficult conversation. Remembering how close at hand a longer exhale can be found. The next slide, please. And we'll move to the next one. We will send out these resources, but there's some really nice articles if you'd like to read a little bit more about managing emotions, managing our fears and anxieties. You could go to the next slide, please. All right. I'd like you to take a good look at this picture of these rocks and stones and pebbles. If we were all together, I would like to give you one, but as we're not, I'd like you to take a look at them, see which of those stones calls out to you, which of them wants you to take them. When you see that rock, that one that really caught your eye, I would like you to imagine picking it up and being surprised at how warm it is, having lied in the sun all day. Imagine picking it up and putting it at your heart, letting the warmth spread. Or maybe you hold it to the back of your neck, or your forehead, or your cheeks. Beautiful rocks, extraordinary nature, an amazing mix of minerals that are durable, survive. Things are tough and they will continue to be tough for May, June, and beyond. We hope you will keep this rock close by, near your desk, near your kitchen, near your bed. In your mind's eye, you can pull it out and let it be a source of strength for you as times are difficult and challenging, or when the sadness and the grief feel so large that we're not sure how to take another step forward. May this be a source of fortification and warmth. Remind you of this connection we shared here today. Next slide, please. I like this little poem just by James Parker. lest this thing worsen, let's agree to be separated by the length of a tall person. No touch. We'll communicate via voice and eyes and heart. We will stick together 6 feet apart. Next slide, please, and let me turn things back to Dr. Pisano. One more slide after that.
I'll turn it over to Milan so he can talk a little bit about the COVID-19 resources.
Perfect. So everybody, what a great exercise. Thank you so much, Dr. Pisano and Dr. Ring, for walking us through that. And thank everybody that participated with us today. I know I've got friends, I've got family, I've got other colleagues and community members, partners that are all participating here. So we want to give a big thanks to everybody. You know, on top of everything that we've learned today, there are some additional resources that we want to make sure that you're aware of. So if you're looking at the slide now, we do have our altamed.org/coronavirus page. We've got blog articles there that dive a little bit deeper into some of the topics that we've talked about today. And then we also have the option to subscribe to our coronavirus update email. As you know, AltaMed is on the front line. We have testing and evaluation centers up now within the community in partnership with LA County. We also have our dental services that are available, behavioral health services, and we can meet you on the phone or in video. So if you need help enrolling with insurance, you would like to see a provider, you can give us a call at the number listed at the bottom of the screen here under Patient Service Center, the 888-499-9303. That is available to anyone at any time. So please feel free to give a call there if you have any questions or need any support. We also have an online assessment tool available at our coronavirus page. That's in partnership with USC's Gare Family Center. It's an amazing tool that is quick to go through. So if you're feeling uneasy about a rasp in your throat, a little ache in your neck, please feel free to use that screening tool. And lastly, if you'd like to help during this time, the altamedfoundation.org webpage is also listed here. We've been putting together supply packages, groceries, and a variety of different supplies and tools for our community and our frailest populations. So if you'd like to be able to support or volunteer time to help us in sending out these supplies and materials or putting them together, we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you. Thank you, Milan. These are great resources. And we also want to offer mental health resources to our community. There are several organizations that offer services to the community. The Department of Mental Health is definitely one resource that you can call at any time. We also included the National Suicide Prevention Line, the Teen Crises Line, the National Domestic Violence Hotline, and the LA County Child Abuse Hotline in case of needing services.
Perfect. Well, everyone, we really wanted to take the time to thank you all again for participating with us today. Dr. Ring and Dr. Pisano, again, a deep thank you for your participation, your expertise, and the work that you are both doing during these times. You know, folks, so we wanted just to reiterate again, here's where you can access it. We will send out all of these materials and additional resources to everybody that did sign on and participate in this WebEx. Feel free, or Facebook, feel free to send those out also to any of your family, any of your friends, any of your colleagues at any time. These resources are available to everyone. But just remember, it's okay to take a break, to write or journal, to drink your water, move your body, go easy on yourself, get creative, forgive yourself, relax, let yourself cry. All of those emotions and feelings are completely acceptable. We're here giving you a permission slip also to just do nothing, to do something, to be unproductive, do what makes you feel good, safe. That's the only way that you'll be able to get through it. But know that we're all here to support at any time and to help at any time. So thank you so much again for your participation today from the bottom of our hearts, and we will see you again soon at our next town hall.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.